Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today's ITB Academy webinar, Connected Venue Best Practice Suntec Singapore, is about to start. My name is Ram, and I am the WebEx producer for this event. If you encounter any technical difficulties, feel free to contact me via Q&A window. For any content-related questions, please write to all panelists in the Q&A window. It welcomes you, David Rutz, Head of ITB, Berlin.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, or good afternoon in Singapore. We're bridging actually the two continents together now, and I'm pleased to welcome you to the ITB Academy webinar about the topic Connected Venue, using the best practice example of Suntec Singapore. Now, as ITB approaches its 50th anniversary in the coming March, we feel we have a little experience in doing successful events, expos, and conventions. And it seems of great importance for a convention and trade show venue to create an enhanced, seamless experience for the customers. And this is why we have the great pleasure that Aaron Maddock, CEO of Suntec Singapore, is going to present some guiding principles in selecting systems and equipment that help to choose the right solutions for a venue. Aaron, I'm happy to have you here today.
Thank you, David. Can you all hear me? Excellent. Firstly, thank you very much for inviting me to take part in this webinar. Greetings from Singapore, and good morning, good afternoon, good day, depending on where you are. I'm hoping that in the next 35 or 40 minutes, I can take you through some of the enhancements that we made to our convention center recently. I'm going to start by introducing our convention center to you, and then take you through some of the technology that we put in and the various technology suite that we put in for this particular convention center. I'm going to start with an introduction. The Suntec Convention Center has been running since 1995. We are located in the heart of Singapore, and we are a stacked convention center. So we have 6 levels, and on each level we have different types of services. On the lower levels we've got retail, we've got multiple meeting rooms on level 3, and then we've got 2 halls of about 12,000 square meters each, which are multifunctional halls which can be used for various events. Now, in 2012, we closed our convention center to remodel it and to modernize our convention center for the future. And in doing so, we wanted to achieve our vision of being a connected convention center that could deliver a seamless, customized experience for all our visitors. It was very clear to us that being a conventional business, we hadn't tapped onto technology effectively, and we hadn't really connected our venue design and our service capabilities effectively. And we felt that this was the time to actually do it and to move not only Suntec, but the industry forward. So first we started with our various spaces, and I just mentioned we have exhibition space, we have meeting space. We wanted to make sure that our spaces that are available would be flexible and customizable to the customer's requirements. For example, in the picture that you can see, in the top half, we have an arena for 6,200 people. But that same arena can be packed up in 48 hours, and we could have an exhibition hall that's 10,000 square meters large. Take the same exhibition hall and move a few walls in, change the lighting, and now we have a space for a conference. add tables in there and put some F&B, and now we have a great dinner and dance. So we actually use spaces very effectively for multiple usage. The same thing happens for our meetings and for our various spaces. Now, I'm sure all of you have been to many conferences and meetings, and usually venue food is about in the same category as airline food, and you have to eat it because you're there. Well, we decided to change that as well. We've upgraded our culinary experience, and we wanted to create delicious food and present it beautifully. And in order to do that, we again had to look at our entire supply chain, because it was not only about creating great food, but we had to create it without adding costs. And that was the challenge. How do you create an amazing culinary experience without adding unnecessary and undue costs for the various organizers? And we managed to do that, and there's a lot of planning and technology in that, which I will take you through. We do have 30 chefs and cooks. We can produce 10,000 meals a day. Any cuisine that you choose. We could be doing buffets, we could be doing high-end meals for a group of 10 or 10,000, depending on what the requirement is. Now, of course, we are in the hospitality business, and the most important thing is about the service. And one of the things we were very clear about when we were designing our future was that people would play an extremely important, if not the most important part in our entire service chain. So we wanted to make sure that we equip our staff with the right capability, the right qualifications, and more importantly, the right information in near real time, so that they are well established and they are able to deliver the right levels of service for each of our customers. There's nothing worse than having a motivated employee who doesn't have the right information and therefore feels embarrassed in dealing with customers. So we were very clear we needed to have a convention center that had a design, a venue design that was connected to the services that we were going to provide, and deliver that all in a seamless experience for all our visitors and organizers. And it was also clear to us that we would need to have a large amount of technology to be delivered, to deliver this type of experience. Right? So now let me take you through this whole idea of digitization. And this was a comment that we found later on, which I think emphasizes the fact that we are on the right track. This is from McKinsey, and it says, to meet high customer expectations, companies must accelerate the digitization of their business processes. The question is, what is digitization? And it's definitely not what you see on the screen. This is 20th century, and we have a lot of CD-ROMs lying around, as I'm sure all of you do, with a lot of data on it. But that's not exactly digitization. For us, digitization was something different. And we found a couple of comments which would actually complement that. Digitization being digital, real-time, and networked, and about delivering seamless, connected relationships. That's what it's all about. And I think today's customers want it. They want the information at their fingertips, and they don't want to be bothered with all the internal workings of any company that they deal with. So our quest was very clear. We had to deliver this seamless, connected relationship, and in doing so, make sure that our venue design worked well with the people that we had in the building, and we could deliver a seamless experience using technology to enable the people in the building. We also did some customer surveys, and this is way back in 2012, 2011. And of course, value for money is always one of the top questions that come up. But the personalized, customized service was another one. And quick response times. And this is critical. People's time is valuable in today's world, and it's important that we don't waste their time. So giving responses to customers more effectively and faster is quite critical. And also being reliable and delivering a level of consistency for all service is something that should be a given today. So we set our goals very clearly. We wanted to be the preferred place to meet, both in Singapore and in the region. And our USP would be a seamless, customized experience where everything just works. So how did we do it? It was clear to us that we are not a technology company, and we didn't want to aspire to be a technology company. In fact, just to let you know, all this technology that I'll be talking to you about is delivered using one IT person in our company. Everything else is done by vendors and on the cloud. And I'll come to that in a minute. But it was clear to us that there was a lot to choose from the market. And as you can imagine, we spent about over 20 million Singapore dollars on this project. There were a lot of vendors lining up outside telling us how good their product was. The problem for us was, how do we decide what was good for us? So we came up with these 5 principles, which has helped us considerably. And we hope that you take some of this with you and possibly use it for your own quest as you go through upgrading your businesses. The first was, we wanted to enhance the customer experience. We wanted to give the customer more control, more choice, and we didn't want to stand in the way of the customer experience. We saw too much technology coming in and telling us how they can give us better data. They could give us big data analysis. If the customer would fill out a questionnaire with 25 different questions, if they would sign in 17 times, that wasn't the objective. For us, it was, if software could enhance the customer experience, if a certain technology could help the customer experience, we would then consider it. The second point that we used was, how do we support our inherent business model of multi-utilization? I mentioned earlier on, our spaces can be used in different ways. So why not our systems? Because our people are already multi-skilled. Our people who work in the banquet team can just as well work in housekeeping. Our finance team can assist with sales. So we wanted systems that could also do multiple jobs. And I'm happy to tell you that we did find systems eventually that could do that, and we'll talk to you about that in a minute. The human touch points had to stay. I said earlier, we are a hospitality industry, and without the human touch points, there is no service. But we wanted technology that would enable our staff to be able to deliver a better experience for our customers. Not a substitute, but an enabler. And that was clear for us. So you won't see any self-service machines. But what you will see is staff who are empowered, who have the right information at their fingertips so that they can make the right decisions very quickly and assist customers when needed. We wanted to create an intuitive interface. We saw a number of very renowned software companies come in and pitch their wares, and then they would say things like, you need 3 months of training, or you need 4 months of training. In today's world where we all use smartphones and no one trains us on how to use an app, we felt it was quite unnecessary. So we wanted to make sure that any interface that we used had to be intuitive without any training manuals or long training periods. And we managed to achieve that as well. The fifth one is interesting, and I've been asked by some other people, why did we put this in and what does it mean? We said we wanted to be a sustainable business and go as green as we could. And there was no reason why our technology couldn't be green either. For example, we don't have any petrol vehicles. We don't only run on electrical vehicles. We have no cooking gas. We use LED lights. We support, we collect the rainwater off our roof and use it again. We wanted to make sure that any technology that we bought would have a minimal impact on our business. And I'll give you some examples as we go along. So armed with those principles, we went shopping and we created a Suntec technology suite. Now, I have to warn you, it's not about a smart venue being just a collection of gadgets, because that's not what we were buying. We were looking for a connected environment that we could create. And what we did was we created this suite, which is made up of smart systems and smart experiences which are supported by technology. So you can see lighting, ventilation, movable walls, these are all building systems Then we have Wi-Fi, the big screen at the entrance to our convention center, the room signage, which is used by the customers. And of course, all our systems are supported by cloud applications. So almost all our systems are in the cloud, and therefore reduces our requirements to do daily backups, to maintain large fleets of servers, or even to have large number of personnel dealing with IT issues. Now, you're probably wondering what all this has to do with the actual experience that a customer is going to have. You see, we had to put this in place in order to create the type of connected experiences that we believed people want today in the 21st century. And I'm going to take you through 3 connected experiences as examples. One is the VIP experience, an important guest arriving in Suntec. Then I'm going to take you through an experience that our organizers would have when they deal with Suntec, and they actually have today. And then I'll take you through the back of the house experience that our staff has when they are actually going through and using all this technology to make a difference. I'm going to start with this connected experience. You'll see those little icons around. Those are all various sites in Singapore. If you haven't been to Singapore, please come and visit us sometime. But going through, I'm going to take you through this journey that a VIP has. And on the right-hand side on the billboard, you can actually see the number of systems that are needed to create this connected experience for the customer without unnecessarily adding costs or personnel to the process. We start with the big picture welcome. At the entrance to our convention center, we've got the largest screen in the world according to Guinness Book of World Records. It's 60 meters across and 45 meters high. It's a high definition screen, and it's quite amazing when you arrive there. Now, I do have a couple of videos. If you're interested, I'll be happy to send you the links. But for this presentation, I don't believe we have the bandwidth to actually show you the videos. But I'll show you a couple of stills so you get an idea as to what it is. So if the VIP came in to our center, we already know who they are. Through various sensors, whether they're RFID or various motion sensors, we can actually activate various displays on the screen. In this case, the invitation would have an RFID in it, and the person would arrive, and the screen would automatically, on sensing the RFID, change to create a welcome. Now, we have Messe Cologne, which comes in here for their dental conference every 2 years. So you can see it says welcome item. This would have been used probably when someone from Messe Cologne was coming across to visit us. This screen is live. It's quite amazing, and you can see in the bottom left the size of the people in contrast to the screen. And what's amazing is this is run off an iPad using our Wi-Fi and the various sensors which automatically activate when a VIP guest is coming along. We then have number plate recognition cameras in the driveway. And if our VIP guest has given us their car number, then we can also activate using that particular number. Now you'll see on your screen there are 4 pictures there. It's the same big picture screen. On the right hand side you can see the escalators and the little blurbs. I'm not sure if they're very clear, but these are personalized messages that can be sent as you go up the escalator. So the escalator ride takes a few seconds, and during that ride you can actually put detailed focused messaging for the people who are riding up, whether it's saying welcome to Berlin Messe, or whether it is saying hello to the guests, or giving them some information about some special offer or something like that. So we use technology quite a lot to customize the experience of any visitor, and in particular the VIPs as they come into the center. Now, we also have digital controls for our building. This is just a normal digital control panel, but what's interesting here is we have a lot of flexible convertible space. So as the space changes, the controls automatically change to control the larger or smaller spaces. So we don't have to have any human intervention. We can control the audio, the air conditioning, the lighting, the blinds for the windows. Everything is controlled through this electronic system, which is then registered at the back end, so we can track how people are using it. We can switch off rooms remotely if necessary to make sure that we stay green and sustainable as well. Moving through the experience, we can also do perimeter control. We have ID cards and electronic ID cards, just like any other airport or any other big factory or business. But our ID cards are linked to the ability to open certain doors and close them, and we can actually do that on the fly. So if there's a VIP coming in who has a restricted access, we can just change the access control at the back end, and automatically certain staff will be limited from going to certain sections. We also have a lot of lighting in our building to change the mood. We found that lighting and light technology is relatively cheap to install and has a great impact on the mood and the experience of people. So these are pictures of our exhibition hall, which are then be converted into a space for dining. And as I mentioned, we can change all the various lighting, and these are computerized lighting, so you can put any sequence or any colors or any designs through the system so that you can make it a more immersive experience for your guests. Now let's take the experience of an organizer. We are one of the first convention centers to go onto Google Indoor Street View. The Google cameras were here about a year and a half ago, and they have mapped the entire building of ours. So before a customer even comes to Suntec, we can actually send you a link to Google Street View and direct you to view one of our rooms or our exhibition halls and get a feel for what our building looks like. I'm sure all of you all can access Google Indoor Street View, and I recommend it to you. And you'll see we set up various rooms in different ways, whether it's for a meeting, for a lunch, or a coffee break, and you can actually see and look at everything that's laid out so you get a better idea as to how you can use these spaces for your own events. We also have a customer portal, which is an interactive customer portal for customers to visualize their event, to see the floor plan, and to experience the space as they would have planned it. So these are live portals that we can use. Let me just get it up for you. I'm sorry, we don't have that video. So that's another video which I could show you, which allows us to interpret the contract and in real time draw a floor plan for you as an organizer. So when you see a 2D floor plan, you can then, with just a click of a button, let it be rendered in 3D, and then you can really see how your event is going to look, and you can do a virtual walk through your room to see if it's all according to your plan. Once that's done, it's automatically connected to our setup teams who will actually set up the room in exactly the way that you saw it in that particular 3D rendering. So this is all connected, and it makes sure that you get what you see. Now, here's a picture of our kitchens, and you're probably wondering why we suddenly bring in the kitchens. Because we put a lot of technology into our kitchens as well to create this experience. We sometimes cater for 3,000 to 5,000 people, maybe 8,000 people, and making sure that everyone gets the right quality of food presented in the right manner and to the right consistency needs technology support today. So you will see on the right-hand side, those are German ovens from Kupferbusch, horrendously expensive, by the way, but those ovens allow us to produce steaks, and if you want them medium rare, then they are produced medium rare. If you want to cook chicken, we can do 200 chickens in there and do them perfectly. This allows our teams to be confident that we can deliver the right standards of service for all our customers. On the left of the screen at the bottom, you will see our induction cookers. We cook on induction in our kitchens. We don't cook on gas. This was part of our sustainability efforts. Apart from that, it reduces the heat in the kitchen, so we can reduce the amount of air conditioning. It's also safer for our cooks to use. There's less burning, and there's less wastage of energy. Excuse me. This is the customer portal that I was talking to you about earlier on. You can see this is what the customer would see on their on the website. We give you a link, and you can see your booking. You can see the way the floor plan is laid out, and you can actually walk through it. This is the actual rendering of the floor plan for that particular event, and it's all done live. It's all done through the system, and there's no effort required from anybody. All we do is draw up a floor plan, and the rest is automatically done by the system. What's also interesting is this type of system allows us to connect directly to our inventory. So if a floor plan has 800 chairs on a particular day, then it will automatically calculate 800 chairs less in the available entry for that particular day. So what this does is it allows us to forecast the usage of equipment way before we come into any tight situation. And if we need to rent additional equipment or bring additional equipment in, then we have enough lead time to do that. We've got a large amount of digital signage around the rooms, around the convention center, and this is all centrally controlled. It allows us to customize the information. It allows us to change information on the fly. It's interactive. We have multiple events going on. Sometimes you might have as many as a dozen events in the building. So this digital signage helps us considerably, and we can get away from printing paper as we used to do in the past, or printing signs and putting them up on the doors, which don't look very good. This is all centrally controlled and can be scheduled days in advance. So again, it reduces the amount of manpower required to maintain the system. It also allows us to be very proactive. So if there's a speaker change last minute, or if there's a name of a person changed, we can change that very quickly in the system. In front of each of our rooms, we've got signage. Again, this is digital. It's also connected to our central content servers and signage system. So again, we can customize this. As you can see, we can put different types of displays based on what the customer would like to have. And this is connected to our central content management system, so everything works very seamlessly. Now, I mentioned earlier that we have our spaces are very flexible, and we can change the size and shape. We can change an exhibition hall into a conference. We can subdivide a conference hall into smaller spaces for a meeting or for a dinner and dance. And as you see in these pictures, there are people moving walls. We have both manual walls like the ones that you see, and we've got electrical walls as well, which move under power. But what's important is on the right-hand side in the top corner where you see a small sensor. And these sensors are dotted all over the place. What they do is they do a myriad of things. They tell us what status the wall is in, whether it has been deployed or whether it's been stored. If it's deployed, the sensor then sends messages down to our systems to make sure that all the services in the room are either segregated or combined depending on what is needed. So if a bigger room is being created, then the various services like air conditioning, lighting, blinds, sound will all be connected to work across the new space. This is quite essential, and on one floor, on level 3, we've got 36 meeting rooms with 28 moving walls. We have rooms that disappear, rooms that can be created in an L shape, for example. This wouldn't have been possible if after every move of the wall, you would actually have to sit down and start reconnecting lights and air conditioning. This is all done fully automatically, and it makes the experience for the customers totally seamless, and it makes it possible for us to deliver this at a very economical cost. Now, The last experience I want to take you through is the connected experience for staff. And I'm going to just briefly run you through this and then maybe take some questions. When we get an inquiry, it converts into a proposal, then into a contract. If there's any event planning to be done or floor planning to be done, it's all done through one business system. And thereafter, once we've collected that data, every piece of information is conveyed automatically to the various staffing departments or the various delivery departments so that we don't have to replicate data, and at the same time, we can make sure that what the client asked for gets delivered in the end. Even the environmental controls are automatically set based on what the client asks for at the time of contracting with us. We have various systems. We've got room segmentation systems, environmental controls, people counting, which we need to know from a safety perspective how many people are in each area, access control, as I mentioned sometime earlier, and various staff deployment systems and processes. All those are fed automatically through a set of rules and a set of processes that are built into our system now. Now, those are the connected experiences. If you have any particular questions, feel free to type them in, and I'll answer them as I'm going along. The question, of course, I think now is we've got a suite of technology. We've got connected experience. How did we actually go about making this whole thing happen? So I'm going to take you behind the scenes to tell you a bit about how the project team actually delivered this, and maybe that would be of interest to you. This is our integrated smart single backbone for our service. We have various systems, as you can see. I think there are about 16 or 18 of these systems around, and each of them work seamlessly with each other. This connectivity is what we sought, and if you remember the principles I was talking about, we wanted a system that could work seamlessly, and we wanted systems that could talk to each other. So we made sure that all the systems that are here can communicate seamlessly with each other and can be used in multiple ways. To give you an example, our cameras in the center not only do the normal security surveillance, but we have video analytics running at the back. So the same cameras are used to count the people passing by. The same cameras are used to identify if somebody slips and falls or if somebody has left an unattended bag. In the back, in the control rooms, the video analytics tells the controller which camera to look at based on certain rules and regulations that we put in. That way, the hundreds of cameras don't have to be monitored all the time by various people. And as a result, we've reduced from 3 different operators. We've now got only a single operator in our control room because they only have to focus on those cameras which really need a human being to verify. We worked with a master systems integrator. In this case, it was Honeywell. And this is the architecture that we used. As the owners, we were very keen to get the best of breed. So while we gave contracts to the main contractors and we allowed them to go and search for various groups, we retained the control through our project managers and through our specialist consultants on the side to make sure that any systems that were being recommended were the best of breed and would actually do the job the way we wanted them to do it. And this proved very useful, and I can definitely recommend to you, if you are going down a very large implementation, a master systems integrator who can underwrite the entire system is the way to go, but it definitely requires control over exactly which systems are being bought and being used for you. And for that, we had a full project team monitoring them. This is just a quick overview of our control center. We control everything from the building management system, the AV systems, down to the Wi-Fi, which we have as free service across the entire convention center. We have a free Wi-Fi across the entire convention center, and it's fast, it's effective, and it's very, very flexible as well. You will see our Wi-Fi architecture is a very dense architecture. The reason for that was we were very clear when we were building our convention center that there would be more and more mobile devices and more connectivity required, not only from the visitors, but also from our own people. Today, we use this infrastructure for our own business as well. So if you come to our offices, you won't find any LAN cables. We actually use Wi-Fi for our own systems as well. And they are well segregated, they are high speed, high density, and we've worked out and created a special system that allows us to flex the capacity of the Wi-Fi offering as the users go up. So we have an airtime fairness system, we have a load balancer, and a lot of great sounding black boxes in the back. But what it does is it makes sure that when we have 5,000 people in the room, or whether we have 5, everyone gets the same high speed, high density service, and we provide that for free. Our IT network is fiber-based, for those of you who are interested, and we have fiber going up to the various switches, and from there we have Cat6 cables. For those of you who are technically inclined, Cat7 would have been more appropriate. Excuse me. But we are an old building, so Cat6 was chosen. This is our land floor. This is just to give you an idea, again, for those of you who are interested in that. What's interesting is the data center. Now, our data center is also very modern. If you walk into the data center room, you'll find it to be very hot because we don't have any air conditioning. Again, looking at our sustainability, we use the latest technique of actually cooling the servers directly through the racks. So we have some very modern racks which keep the servers at the right temperature, excuse me, without having to cool down an entire room. And those are the only servers we have. As I mentioned to you earlier on, all our systems are on the cloud, so we have very few servers. These are more telephone servers and a few servers to store our data from our cameras before we delete them on a regular basis. So that's it. It's an integrated single backbone with all the systems connected, delivering a seamless experience. And this translates into a more even experience for the clients, a simple process for the organizers, and a way for our staff to deliver the best possible service. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is my presentation. I'm happy to take questions. Please go ahead, David.
Jesse?
I'm just checking this. Let me just see. Okay.
Hi, Aaron. There's one question from Mr. Roots, as you can see in the chat window.
Yeah.
Digitization. Are there plans for implementing meeting Industry 4.0 principles by integration of humanoid systems instead of human touch points? So like robots.
Yes. There's been a lot of talk about this. I think what we did in Suntec was we used cutting edge technology. We didn't use bleeding edge technology. I think the issue here is, will robots be able to take on some of this work? I think in the back end, possibly. So for example, we move large amounts of food from our kitchens to our meeting rooms. This is currently done by a human being pushing a very heavy oven or a puller, electrical puller pulling this oven. Now, I've already seen systems in hospitals which actually deliver the food to the floor, and these are all robots. I think, in my view, we'd probably be going down that direction of using more of those robots to do the behind-the-scenes heavy lifting. But for the moment, and I say that with some reservation, but for the moment, I think human beings will still have to do the last part of the interaction. Because somehow we are a hospitality group, and when people come here, they want service, they want us to be available to them when they need us, and at the same time, if they don't need us, then of course we don't need a robot or a human. They're happy to just do their own work. So will we be going down the robot side? Watch this space. We'll keep looking at it, but for the moment, we don't have a good solution.
Eric, this is David again. Thank you for answering this question. I liked your quote, when your food has been in the same category as airline food until now. But I would have the question, how are you competing price-wise with your high-level catering, with the offer that's being presented in the environment surrounding Suntec? As I know it very well from the last decade, there's also many outlets and restaurants, and I see from Messe Berlin that, of course, being an exhibition company, you have to have certain level of pricing. You can't go down very low. So what's your strategy on this?
I'm glad you asked that question, David. We took a page out of the book, out of the German car industry, and I'm not talking about the recent problems, but I'm talking about just in time, just in sequence. What we decided was, yes, we definitely, as you know, in Singapore, it's very competitive. Food is very competitive. There was no way we could go to the client and say, pay more if you want to get more. So how will we be able to give them more, give them better presented food, better quality, without charging them more? So we looked at our entire catering business, and we optimized it. So we reduced our number of suppliers down to only about 17. We had about 50 suppliers. We then decided to get everything delivered just in time, just in sequence. So about 7 days out, the first orders go out, the top-ups go up about 2 days out. And here's the trick. We changed a lot of our inventory so we can actually deliver food in a much better presentation. And then we took our chefs, and our chefs who were working in the back of the house, 30 chefs who were cooking for the last 15 years, and after doing some training them in English and everything, we put them in front of the customers. So now, the same food, which was being cooked in masses and being put in big shaper dishes and being sent out of the kitchen, can now be presented, and the final cooking can be done in front of the customer, and individual servings can be made without actually adding any cost to the whole process. So by changing some inventory, changing the way we get our supplies, and changing the way we utilize our people, we actually were able to keep our cost base the same while presenting this food in much better ways for our customers to enjoy.
Thank you. That answered it perfectly. Thank you very much, Arun.
Actually, we also got an award from UPI for the most innovative catering. That was for delivering what we call the dessert safari, where we had the desserts being served in booths embedded in the exhibition. And we weren't able to do that because, again, without any additional costs, because our entire delivery process has already been streamlined.
Okay, and I can see that on the slide also that now I can see it that the UFI award is concerning catering. Congratulations.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, if there are no other questions, I think Ram, our host, will swipe us out of the program. This program is still available on recording on ITB website, so participants that were not able to attend or from other time zones will be able to view it for some time. Aaron, thank you very much taking time. We know you're very busy. and we really appreciate that you shared your knowledge with us.
Thank you very much.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, thank you for attending today's ITB Academy webinar in cooperation with Suntec Singapore. If you have further questions, do not hesitate to contact us. Today's webcast will be uploaded to the ITB Academy website in the course of next week. Please be so kind to answer the Academy survey, which will open up after closing the webinar. Thank you and have a good day.